Hey guys, what's up? Tony Rodriguez here with another episode of Tony Talks. Look who I've got with me over here, in live and live and in person. The one and only, the infamous Joseph McClendon the third.
The third.
So, good to see you again,
Thanks
brother.
for having me on again. And by the way, Jason Cisneros, this is 2 for me, all right? I'm coming after you, all right?
So, I have the pleasure of being down here in Miami for and a couple of thousand souls, 12 or 13,000 people that are going to be here, that are going to be going through the event with us over the next couple of days. And I just decided to take a couple of minutes. This is an impromptu Tony Talks. Usually you guys know we're here on Fridays or Saturdays, but you know what? What's better than a Wednesday with Joseph?
A Wednesday is a Friday for me anytime. So
that's right.
Every day is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday.
Damn right. You know, everybody's always waiting for Friday, waiting for the weekends, right? Just absolutely live every day. That's what I like about this guy. He's got similar mindset. So today I just decided we're going to come on here because I knew that he was here. I was going to be here, and kind of stole a little bit of time from Joseph and from me to come on here for a little bit and just share a little message with you guys and bring you Joseph again. So Joseph, let's talk about transformation.
Yeah. The reason, and by the way, Tony asked me just a little while ago what we wanted to talk about, and it came to my mind because I was just watching a video of a friend of mine who left a really, really great post about transformation, and it was awesome, and I just wanted to add to it, really, kind of add a different perspective to it. And transformation, obviously, we all want something, we all want more, whether it's health, wealth, all of the things that we want in our life that we desire.
Sure.
And what it's going to involve is us changing to be and do something differently than we are currently doing to get what we want. And that is what's called a transformation. In other words, we move from being a certain way, whether we're procrastinating, hesitating, or doing whatever it is, we're moving from our bad behaviors or our unresourceful behaviors into behaviors that serve us. And I always say that that's great because we all want to do that, but it doesn't just happen just because we understand it. That knowledge is not power. I hear you talk about it all the time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power. If you don't implement, if you don't take action, congratulations, you have the knowledge, but you haven't done anything with it.
Yeah, it's just stored information. That's all it is. And everybody knows how to lose weight, but people don't lose weight because they don't put that. I call that, by the way, what we want is wisdom. Wisdom is applied knowledge.
Right.
In other words, we do what we say.
Right.
And we all want to take action, but we want to take more than action. We want to take what's called activity. And activity is action over and over and over again until you surpass your goal. So having said all of that, let's take a look at the word transformation. And I always break it down to this. As you know, I'm at things a little bit differently, and that is that instead of looking at just kind of the literal way of the way things are, let's change things a little bit so we can get a different understanding and a better application so that we take more action. And so I'll start here, and this is the foundation of everything, and that is that there's the way that we work is that we think causes us to feel, causes us to do, and then we have. So it's always think, feel, do, have. So psychology, emotion, activity, and outcomes, all of those things. So in order for that to happen, the number one thing, if you want to do the linchpin or the thing that kicks it all off, is always the psychology, changing how we think.
Sure.
And that, from a psychologist's standpoint, at the risk of sounding too noble, is a trance. And a trance is just a consistent thing that we're focusing on in that moment that we block other things off. It's the most important thing that we're thinking about in that moment. It's our psychology. We're in a trance. As we're watching television, you're in a trance. If you're listening to me right now, you're in a little bit of a trance because you're focused right here. And that trance, the longer you're in that trance, the longer you will do that behavior that you're in. So obviously when we want to do something like exercise or eat a certain way or do something that's going to involve activity outside of our comfort zone, we want to be in a trance that supports that. So instead of saying transformation, I call it transformation. Huh?
I like it. You see what he did there?
See what I did here? Yeah. So, so what we want to do is we want to form a trance that supports the behavior. Well, let me put it this way. Form a trance that supports the emotion that we need to feel, that supports, and that emotion supports the behavior or activity that we want to take. Right. And that activity will bring us that outcome that we want. So So having said that, if you reverse engineer it, you go, okay, well, what would I need to focus on, think about in order to make myself feel a certain way? So I use, like, say, exercise. People want to get a better body, or people want to get healthy or something. It's going to involve going to the gym, or it's going to involve walking or moving your body a certain way, eating a certain way and everything. So what would you have to focus on and think about in that moment to make you feel like you want to go do those things? And part of the answer is the outcome in itself. In other words, focusing on how good it's going to be when it's all over, right. When you have that outcome. When you got that body that you want, you got that energy that you want, or whatever, and you look in the mirror and you go, I'm amazing, whatever it takes. And so focusing on that, and then here's the deal. Here's how you produce a trance. Here's how you form a trance. Number one, by the way, you might want to write this down. Number one, determine what the things that you need to think about, or you should, could, would think about to cause you to feel that way. Usually it's the outcome of the activity itself. Like I said, with a better body, you see yourself better, you imagine yourself feeling better, you write it down, always write it down. What you write is what you will invite, and what you don't is what you won't. So write it down. Number two, obviously, make yourself think about it and imagine it and make it as vivid of pictures as you possibly can. And in number three, reward, praise yourself for having done it. Do it over and over again, because that's what locks it into your nervous system so that it becomes automatic. Right. And then practice it. The last step is to practice it. I always say schedule it. Get out your phone, tell Siri to schedule it for you, so that 3, 4, 5, 10 times a day you go back to that you're focusing on. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily having to do that activity in that moment, but go back to that thing that you're focusing on and think about it. And when you do, praise yourself. Do it over and over again. Pretty soon that'll become a habit, and you will form a trance.
Love it.
Transformation.
Love it. And you know what? The one thing that you say that is great about that is, and you also have to reward yourself along the way as you're going through it,
yes,
because it keeps you inspired, right? Mm-hmm. It keeps you going, and celebrate the small victories along the way. If it's you're looking to drop down 2 sizes or 3 sizes or lose 20 pounds, celebrate every 5 pounds you lose. Not with a donut, but celebrate, and reward yourself. Acknowledge yourself for doing what it is that you're doing, for doing the work, not just knowing what to do. And something that I learned from someone the other day, I don't know if you know E.T., Eric Thomas?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So he talks about just being obsessed with the outcome.
That's a trance.
It's a trance,
That's
exactly.
A trance, yeah.
When you're, and we've all done it, right? At one point or another, we've all been in trance, or we've all been obsessed at something that we're singularly focused, and we want that outcome. We see it, we do it. And, sometimes it's just not towards exactly what's going to benefit us or be the best for us. But, like as kids, for example, they get a new game, and man, they're you talk to them, they don't even hear you.
They don't hear anything out because they're in that trance.
That's it.
Yeah. And what's really great about what you said, I love that. I mean, that's part of my DNA these days, is reward every step of the way. And don't wait, like you said, if you lose 5 pounds, if you don't lose 5 pounds, give yourself the reward because you did it. Give yourself some sort of praise because you did it, because that's what teaches the nervous system. That's what conditions the nervous system to do more and more of it.
Absolutely, because what do people usually do? God damn it!
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a week and I still haven't lost any damn weight.
Mm-hmm. And then so chatter starts.
And you beat yourself up, and then it makes it less likely that you're actually going to go
do it again.
Because what's at the end of your trying and not making it the first time around? Pain.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? So we instead of rewarding ourselves and encouraging ourselves, again, you can either be your biggest cheerleader and best friend or your own worst enemy. Be the cheerleader.
All the time, every step of the way. From the time you wake up in the morning, and again, it's the most amazing tool that you have in your possession all the time, your phone. And use that phone to remind you to do these things. Remind you to, oh, wait a minute, let me refocus on what I want and praise myself. It takes just a couple seconds, and it builds you up so quickly and so powerfully so that it becomes automatic. It becomes your default.
And I will tell you that I do that, and it's because of you, because of something that I learned from you, is he says, just grab your phone and say, Siri, tell me this at this time, or remind me of this every hour. And she does, and I'm like,
And the great part about it is the phone becomes an anchor to put you in a great state.
Right.
In other words, like sometimes, have you ever been expecting a text from somebody that you wanted to hear that text or whatever, and when it goes off, you go like that? Okay, that text has become an anchor to make you feel good, okay? But when you start giving it reminders to remind you to do things that give you personal growth, your soul starts to look forward to it, and your phone becomes a positive anchor, and it's with you all the time. So every time that thing goes off, you get excited, you get another charge.
Yeah. And I'll give you guys a tip. So I'm wearing this shirt, Honor the Struggle. That's from another one of my mentors. Joseph is one of my mentors, by the way, but from Brendan Burchard. He actually, so my phone, if we're on here long enough, it will, I have triggers. I have a couple of alarms, right? The first one, I wake up and celebrate. Then I have an 8:07 alarm, because, from Tony Robbins, right? The 8:07 a.m. So I've got that one just because that's an anchor. And then at 10:30, I think about what are the 3 words that you want. If people were to describe you right now, what are the 3 words you'd want them to use? Who are you? Are you passionate? Are you compassionate? Are you kind, caring, loving, funny? What are the 3 words that best describe you, or that you'd want somebody to describe you as? And set those up. Set up an alarm at 10 o'clock. Set up another alarm at 2:30 in the afternoon, wherever you have that lull, and another one in the evening if you choose to. So when my phone rings, I don't even have to take it out. I can silence it because I already know it says, hey, I already know the 3 words that are telling me. Then at 2:30, I get it again. And it's just a great reminder, right? Yeah. It's a great anchor.
And here's the great part about it. I use similar. I rarely set it ahead of time. What I'll do is when it goes off, I'll go, remind me in another 2 hours. Remind me in another 2 hours. I use it for lots of stuff, like drinking water. Like, for example, I travel a lot, as you know, we were just talking about this. And sometimes I get going and I forget to drink water. I'll be on an airplane for like 10 hours and I'll forget to drink water. So I'll set my phone to remind me to drink a glass of water, because that is so important. So what happens is, look, is that Brian? I think that's Brian Bradley. Yeah.
It might be, actually.
Team members coming in. So to use this to your advantage, use it to your advantage to remind you to do stuff. It's amazing.
Yeah, so technology is something that we have at our fingertips, and it's like Joseph said, we all have the knowledge, right? We just have to apply it. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I'm always excited to keep learning, people ask me all the time, man, why do you keep going to these events? And I do, right? Because I'm always learning, I'm always growing. I learn from Joseph, I learn from Tony Robbins, I learn from Brendan Burchard, and all these other amazing people. And I will tell you that one of the reasons that I wanted to grab Joseph and have a brief conversation with him today as well is that in another 2 weeks or so, I'm going to come and see Joseph at an event that he's doing.
You need to be there.
You need to be there. And I'll share the link for those of you who are interested. It's going to be in California. It's going to be an unbelievable couple of days. And just tell us a little bit more about it and what we're going to be doing and learning there.
And everything that I do is always designed to do these 3 things. Number 1 is to obviously help people change their psychology so that they change how they feel, so they change what they get. But more specifically, to do it so that I give you something to do so that you produce a result right now and going on. Other than just, giving you some advice, because we all that's advice is just knowledge. So the second thing that I do is to help people magnetize themselves. And what that means is this, is that even in the process we were just talking about, changing the trance literally changes the electromagnetic energy that courses through your body, but it also projects out from you, and it has a couple qualities to it as well. I always ask people, and I'll ask you this, you ever wonder why some people seem to be more lucky than other people? The ball seems to bounce in their favor, and things happen for them a little bit differently. Success happens differently for them, and even for you at times. It's just like we go after something, and sometimes things happen for us, and sometimes they don't. Well, there's a reason why. I have the privilege of, over the last probably, 2.5 decades now, Tony, working with a lot of high-end people, Academy Award winners and Grammy winners and major sports figures, and you name it, people across the board. And so it's been this study that I have of why these people succeed at the highest level, that upper 2 or 3%. And it is because they are magnetized differently than other people. They attract things in their life differently than other people. And it's not just the secret and the laws of attraction and things like that. We literally have the ability to magnetize ourselves to the things that we want. But here's the key. Magnetize those things to bring it into us as well. So I created an event, and I've been doing the event, by the way, around the world for the past 2 decades now, but I rarely do it here in the U.S. This is the only time I'm doing it.
No, that's why I'm excited about it, and I want to bring it to them, and I'm looking forward to it. I haven't caught one yet. I didn't want to go to the Netherlands. It seems to catch all the time when you're in the Netherlands.
Yeah, I do it. So the event is this. It's a 2-day event, and what it's designed to do is to do these 3 things. Number 1, not just understand the laws of magnetism, and I wish I would have brought my little props with me. Yeah. Because it's like a magnet is great, and we're all magnets. We all are attracting things, and how we increase our magnetivity is by increasing our electricity, and there's a specific method of which I teach there to do that. But a magnet attracts another magnet quicker, easier, faster. So you got to magnetize the other thing that you want as well. And it's a science, it's a system that I teach. And so the thing about what I always say is this. Here's the example that it works, that it's proof. Have you ever been sitting in your car and you feel somebody looking at you? And you look over and sure enough they're looking at you. Or vice versa. You look at somebody and they feel you looking at them. Well, three things are happening in that moment, just to prove my point. And I know this might sound cosmic, and if it sounds too cosmic for you, step off, because you can do it the regular way or you can do it this way. And this, by the way, has been my secret weapon, because I'll tell you about my careers and here in just a second. But what happens is when you put your attention and intention on somebody else, and I want to use somebody else as an example, but it's something else as well. It doesn't matter what it is. Four things happen. Number one, your electromagnetic energy grows. Listen to the words. Your electric magnetism grows.
Right.
And you can view this on Carillion Photography. Go online and look at it. That's number one thing that happens. The second thing that happens is that person feels that energy. The third thing that happens is their electromagnetic energy grows. And the third thing that happens is that you are connected and you move closer to each other. That's how magnetism works across the board. That is why when you look at somebody, they feel you, and so on and so forth. So take that, let's jump ahead, and let's look at whatever you want. Anything material, I don't care what the situation, circumstances, whatever, it works exactly the same way. It is the law. It's the laws of attraction. It is the laws of nature. It is the laws of physics. That's the way it is. So what I teach people to do is this. Number one, to magnetize yourself. Number two, to magnetize something else. And then number three, to bring those two together.
Right.
It's an amazing process. That's day number one. Day number two is this. So what if you know that stuff? If you have procrastination, hesitation, fear of failure, fear of success, all that stuff, it's going to block you. It's going to stop you. As a matter of fact, it will push things away. If you want something, but there's something inside of you that you might not even be thinking about, Tony, self-doubt, uncertainty, inhibitions or anything like that, it'll literally push it away. And that's where most people live. So day number two is where we squash that stuff. I say to you, bring me your worst nightmare. And what I mean by that is your worst fear, your worst phobia, your worst inhibition, your worst doubt, anything, memory, whatever it is. Because on that day, I have a process that I call the stop technique. And the stop technique is we're going to crush it. We're going to wipe it out, get it out of there. And at one point during that day, you're going to go, I can't feel this. And it's not going to be something that I do to you. It's going to be something that I tell you, I show you, you do it, and now you have that tool for you the rest of your life. Third thing that happens on that day is when we do that, it creates a vacuum inside your psychology. It creates a vacuum inside you. Because when you take that inhibition, that fear out, there's going to be a hole. So then what we do is that we build it up and we bulletproof, as I say, a dynamic identity that you create so that that's what you are. You live that. And so having said that, graduates, as a matter of fact, if you supply the link, he'll supply you a link, go to the link, there'll be a video on there and you'll see it. You'll literally see, and you'll see some people that have gone through it and getting the result. And here's what I say. It doesn't matter what you want. My belief is that all of us, every single one of us, has the ability to bring into our lives, whether you call it attracting or magnetizing or whatever, and you've done it before, we can bring into our lives situations, the circumstances, even the material things and people that we desire. We have an effect over that. And the example I like to use is this. I'm one of those people, and so are you, and people like Tony and there are people around. People always wonder how and why those people succeed at that high level, that upper 3%. Well, that upper 3%, knowingly or unknowingly, apply this process, knowingly or unknowingly. And I'll give you an example. I don't teach theory, and that means I don't teach something that I don't do myself. I've had 5 major careers outside of when I stopped working as an employee. And the careers were, the first one was real estate, the second one was being a musician, the third one was being an author, fourth one was being a speaker and doing what I'm doing, and the fifth one was network marketing. And all of them, I rose to the, in real estate, I bought 26 houses in less than a year and a half's time.
Wow.
And I still benefit from those now. In network marketing, I created a 6-figure income in less than 2 years, and I still benefit from that now. And all these that I say, the odds of people becoming successful in those areas are really, really, really small.
surviving most.
Yeah, even surviving. And I beat those odds, and it's not because I'm so special, it's because I apply this process. So it doesn't matter what you do. Being a best-selling author, I'm a New York Times best-selling author on my very first book, same thing. And obviously doing what I do now is a
Which, by the way, he has a new book called Awesome Sauce. I'll put the link in for that too. Sorry,
yeah.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, no worries. And so I'm saying all these things not to brag or to boast, but to let you know I have a secret. And I have not a secret, like, nobody knows what it is, but I have a secret process, if you will, that is teachable, that is learnable, and that's what I'm doing. Magnetic Success, it's November 16th and 17th. It's just a couple weeks away. It's a small seminar, so just so you know, it's not going to be some huge 2,000-3,000 person seminar. And the reason being is, and then we get to be one-on-one and answer questions and things like that, where I'm going to show you exactly what it is. You're going to do it yourself. You're going to get the result, and life changes in that way.
I love that you said that there's already people that are doing it automatically, and I'm sure that you guys, every one of you has done this at one level or another. If you ever had days that doesn't matter what you do, nothing goes right.
Yeah.
And then there's other days that doesn't matter what you do, and everything goes right.
And the lights are all green. There's always a parking space for
right.
you. And I'm not guaranteeing you that you're going to get everything that you want when you want it. But I am saying this is going to do two things. Number one, it's going to stack the deck in your favor and give you leverage. And number two, it's going to change that emotion, which, remember, is the number two thing. You're going to change your psychology, but change your emotion so that you feel better about you, feel better about the situation, circumstances, everything around you, change your beliefs.
Yeah. So again, it's about knowing the tools, and because again, the things that we do inherently and we already do, how great is it to be able to know what tool to grab to be able to do that?
And more specific, I love what you just said there. And more specifically, to not have to conjure it up or put yourself in state and have to do all those things to make it happen. It happens automatically. Right. In other words, it's just an automatic. It's my default, if you will, and that's what I get to teach other people as well.
And that's the beauty of getting to the the unconscious competence of something, where you learn it and you do it and apply it over 2 days. What's the immersion? It's great to get a lesson from somebody. Like now he's sharing something with you. I'm sharing. You watch a video and you get it one way, but when you immerse yourself for a day or two and you're with other people that are going through it and you're learning from your mistakes, their mistakes, and everything else, you actually learn at a deeper level, and you go from the being unconsciously incompetent to being consciously competent, all the way to unconsciously competent, and where you're doing it automatically. You don't even know what you're doing it. That's why you look at sometimes and it's like, man, how the hell is that guy? It's effortless.
Effortless. And what you just said is, I call those the 3 stages of learning. In other words,
I think it was, I missed one. It's conscious incompetence.
No, there's unconscious incompetence. Unconscious incompetence. You don't know that you don't know.
Right.
And then there's conscious incompetence, means you know that you don't know something. And then there's then there's conscious incompetence, meaning you got to try. And then there's unconscious competence, which is then you're just doing it automatically. However, there are 3 stages of learning when I say intended learning. Because you can learn by putting your hand on the stove, you learned a lesson.
Right.
But here's what people, because my method of teaching is, I'm going to teach you so that you get a lifelong learning. So it's not just something that you got this knowledge, it's something that's in you for the rest of your life. Just like putting your hand on the stove, but a beautiful way, if you will. And that is it. So there's 3 things that have to happen in order for you to have the type of learning that's going to last, that's going to serve you for the rest of your life. Number 1, you have to have the intention, meaning you want to learn something. Right. Number 2, you have to have the knowledge, meaning somebody else's, or you have to know what it is that it's going to take to do it and what that is that you want. And then the third thing, this is the thing that most people leave out, and it's the reason why I do this event and do events, is because you have to have what's called a significant emotional event in that moment. It's the emotion that sinks it into your nervous system. It's the emotion that makes you remember it for the rest of your life. It's the emotion that makes it automatic. So we create the environment where I mean it. When you get there, you're going to see it. There's going to be a point where you're going to go, I can't feel that anymore. You're going to try, but you aren't going to be able to feel it. And if you can't feel it, then you won't do it. And if you don't do it, then you won't have that labor or that hindrance in your life anymore. And so people always ask me, Joseph, why are you always so happy? And why are you always in such a good mood? Because I do this stuff. I learned this years ago. I learned the fundamentals of it when I read Think and Grow Rich. And it was just a certain sort of set of circumstances that I now know I created that allowed me to expand it. All I've done is taken those laws of, I'm just going to call it magnetism, and mixed it in with the neurosciences. And it's a process. It's not just theory. It's not just something you're going to learn. You're going to do it. You're going to attract things right there. And by the way, I'm going to show you something there that for the rest of your life, you're going to go, Of course, that's it. Of course, you'll see it. You'll see it happening. I'm so excited about this.
It is. Look, I'm excited to be there. Just again, there's so many things, and there's always another level of learning. Even when you think that you know it, just tweaking things, and every opportunity is a great one. I read something on here. Thank you all, by the way, for joining us live. I mean, we have so many great people here. We have Kelly, Lorelei, Danny. Danny, actually, I came back because Danny says something. Learn to unlearn. I love that.
Ooh, love it. Nice.
Yeah, because I made a post a couple of weeks ago that life is about. Growing up is learning, and then maturing is unlearning.
Unlearning the stuff that and you can do it in a fast way. You can do it in a post-haste way.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see who else has some questions here.
Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, I usually announce it and say, ask questions. It's an interactive conversation. I forgot to mention that, but I thought you guys already knew. Ryan Peralta says, "Shake that ass." I love it. By the way, speaking about shaking that ass, I just want you guys to help me. Just celebrate this man's birthday. It's his birthday today. It's his birthday. It's his. What is it? You're 33, right?
I'm 37. Okay. No, I'm actually 66 years old today.
I was going with 33 on each leg, but okay, 33 on each leg. 66
on each leg. Yeah.
66. Yeah. 66.
And again, at the risk of sounding arrogant. My youthfulness, and this is going to sound really arrogant. My youthful appearance. When I say youthfulness, I mean my youthfulness and my energy and my attitude, aptitude, and all those things come from what I'm teaching at the Magnetic Success. Because remember, I said situations and circumstances. The reason it's not just because I eat well and exercise and things like that. It's a mindset, an emotion, an activity. So that's part of it as well. Whatever you want, I attribute my. Everything in my life to these principles of magnetic success. Everything.
Yeah. And the reality living, and I love that you said that you choose, you're happy because you choose that, you create that. Bottom line, the happier you are, the longer you live, the younger you look, everything, right?
Yeah.
So listen, I'm all about learning from this guy because I want to look like that one. I don't look like this. I'm 47 and I don't look like him.
You don't want to look like me. You want to look like the best version.
Right. I'm a little taller than you are. Yeah.
You also want to be have the energy. And remember, energy. And once you're looking at it this way, which is one of the things I'll teach you, energy is just electricity. That's all it is. And you can generate electricity in any given moment. Look, I don't care how tired you are. We've all had this experience. You're driving and you're going, and all of a sudden you hit the markers on the road and you wake up and you go, I could have killed myself. And all of a sudden now you're awake.
Right.
What's the difference? A significant emotional event happened in that moment that caused you to be awake in that moment. And what happens is if you register or you monitor your electromagnetic energy that's going on in that moment, in what we call an EEG machine, you'll see that your electricity is greater. And so you have the ability to, in the moment, increase your electricity. But here's the great part about it. You can increase your electricity and you can make it sustain. You know this. We're going to do a UPW here in the next few days. I'm going to take people from 9 o'clock in the morning, the days I'm on, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to go to almost 11 o'clock at night. And they're all going to be wide awake and with lots of energy.
Absolutely. It's one of the most amazing experiences. For those of you who have not been to a Tony Robbins event, I'd absolutely encourage you to come. Those of you, obviously, if you're not here on your way here, you didn't make it, but you're still intent to catch Joseph's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
It's going to be badass. And Shannon, by the way, that's going to be in California.
Yes, it's in Irvine, California.
Irvine, California. So I'll be posting the link on here as well, so that you guys can click through and join us and get his book and all the other things.
And by the way, I got a bunch of great bonuses. And it'll repeat. I have bonuses, meaning that it's not just about the event itself. I'm going to take care of you before, during, and after. So there are a couple things that come along with it. Number one, tonight, because it is so short, I'm doing a pre-call, but I'm going to record it. So even if you get started now, you'll supply the link. The call will be recorded to give you what you need to show up there. And then also a couple, I think I include the book and a couple of other programs that come along with it as well. It's, we're going over the top because, again, it's the only time it's happening here in the U.S.
Yeah. So maybe next time, and by the way, Shannon's got the frowning face because she's on the East Coast. Maybe the next time that he has it in the U.S., maybe it'll be on the East Coast. It'll be a little easier to get other people there. But yeah, so listen, if you've not been, to one of these events, it's an absolute must. And Joseph he's an integral part of the UPW. I've been learning from Joseph for the last 20 years or so. So I feel
look at this.
Look at
what
he helped raise me. It's great.
He was just a little kid.
But yeah, so I'm excited to be hanging out with you the next couple of days, and certainly excited to be with you in the next 2 weeks as well. So yeah, I welcome you to come on and kind of hang out with us. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be circa 500 people or so.
Yeah,
it's going to
actually
be
less than that. We're actually keeping it less than. It's going to be
under. It's going to be under 500 people. So. You know, and the people that are gonna go there, I already know some of the people that are gonna be there as well. It's gonna be a great time. So, join us.
Come on down.
Come on down.
And by the way, if you're sitting here going, "Well, that's too close. It's too close," and so on and so forth, that's the reason you need to be there, because that conversation that's going on inside your head. One last thing, probably not the last thing, but you know, I would say to people, you've got to be willing to invest in yourself, your time, your energy, and your capital to get what you want. We were talking earlier. I didn't mention that I'm actually going to another friend's. In all of the, I've got another 4 events to do this month of my own here, and in the Netherlands, and no, I just got back from Italy. But in between there, I'm going to go to somebody else's seminar, because I'm always there to learn. Because if you're not continuing to give yourself input and put yourself in an environment that fosters your growth, then you're just going to be going. You're going to slow down at the very least. But in most cases, most people go backwards.
Yeah. You know, as the saying goes, and you know, somebody challenged this the other day when I posted it, but, you know, I say, if you're not growing, you're dying. You know, but and while that might not be necessarily true, if you're not growing, you're stagnating, which in some cases, if you're not growing, if you stagnate in your business, other businesses are passing you by.
Yeah.
If you stagnate in your relationship, well, we're not going to talk about what can happen there, but you need to keep growing, right? You need to keep growing, you need to keep learning, you need to keep reading books and going to seminars or and learning from other people. Certainly surrounding yourself with great people. So this is just another great opportunity to do it. So, but by all means, join us. And
yeah, come on down.
And you know what my tagline is, and that's something that, and we'll be talking about that. I'm starting, by the way, this is kind of like an informal announcement, I guess.
Here we come, ladies and gentlemen.
I've been encouraged over the last couple of weeks and months, and certainly if you've been watching me, you know that I'm passionate about helping people grow through what they go through, and how I'm always saying in life, it's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up, right? You fall down 7, get up 8, and God knows I've fallen. I've learned that because I've lived it, and I've fallen down more times than I can count. Fortunately, I keep getting up. So, you know, you heard me say that you fall down 7, get up 8, and you get up and grow. Right, so I've been hashtagging Get Up and Grow for a long time.
I love that.
So I've been doing that for a couple of years. So guess what? We are going to be starting some events called Get Up and Grow, where we help you grow through what you go through, because we all do, right? We all fall, and most of us get up, but we get up and go. We don't necessarily get up and grow. Right?
I like to add to that. First off, that is awesome, and how abroad can support
absolutely.
you. Absolutely.
Listen, we'll be talking about that. Absolutely.
I love that saying. My dad always used to take sayings, and this is where I get a lot of my sayings from. Is my dad would always take sayings, and he'd change them around most of the time to make them funny. But he used to say that it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, and it really doesn't matter how many times you get back up. It depends on it. What matters is what you do while you're down there. That will determine how many times you're going to get back up so that you can go on. So he says, when you get knocked down, when you're down there, look around and see what knocked you down, and then get up, and next time, duck.
That's great. That's great. You know, it's great that you say that. You know what? You know, he did say before it's going to be the last thing, but now it's not, because now I'm going to give you a little tip. I started saying this to some clients probably a year ago, or close to a year ago. I said, you know, when you fall, when you fail, because you don't really fail unless you stop trying, but when you fall, you know, it's important. And during the fall, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to do this. But after the fall, you need to be like that forensic pathologist. You need to really study that fall.
What happened here?
What happened? Because so many people are tripping on shit behind us, right? Things that happened in the past that we didn't learn from. So what I say is study the anatomy of the fall. What caused you to fall? Did you trip? Did you slip? Were you pushed? Right? Was it dark? What happened? What caused you to fall? And while you were falling, did somebody try to catch you and help?
Oh, nice.
Who was there trying to support you? Who was there laughing at you on the way down?
From who now? I'm learning from him.
And then when you're down on the ground, how hard did you fall? Was there someone there to help cushion your fall? Because, you know, so many times we fall because there was something down there we're supposed to find, right? So what was down there? What did you learn? How long did you stay? Right? And then when you started getting back up, who was trying to keep you down? Who was applauding you? Who was reaching down or dropping a line to help you up? It's so important because, on the fall, and by the way, I'm speaking from personal experience. When you fall, before you fall, everything's great. You're surrounded by all these people. When you fall, all of a sudden, people aren't there as much anymore. Like, where are they? Holy shit, I didn't realize I lived in the desert, right? So, and then when you come back up, you have a handful of people that are there to support you and help you get back up. But when you start to get back up and you're back up, first of all, there's always the people that are going to try to resist your growth. But when you finally get back up and back on your feet, guess who comes back around? Everybody comes back around. But now you've learned. Now the important thing is to learn. That's why it's important to study the anatomy of that fall. Be that forensic pathologist. Be that scientist and look and learn. So you get up and grow. Otherwise, you just get up and go and you fall in the damn hole again. You get pulled and pushed by the same person. So get up and grow, my friends.
And what happens is as you start to dissect and start to look for those things that you were just mentioning here, it literally rewires that brain of yours. It changes your psychology. And so it teaches you to do more of it the next time. And you're more aware of it. And that foresight now becomes a part of who you are. So when you enter something else, your brain doesn't have to go, oh, that was the same as that. You don't have to do that consciously. Your brain does it automatically for you, and you start to take these different attitudes.
Yeah. And then you know what the reality of it is? This is true, and I'm just reading something that Lorelai's put in here. View your adversity as gifts to learn. Absolutely. Listen, every bad thing that's ever happened to me, every fall that I've taken, every scrape, every bump, every broken bone, every failure, you know what? After a while, you do learn. Tony talks about it all the time. If you're going to blame, right? You got to blame effectively.
Yeah.
But you also have to be grateful for all those bad things. You've heard me say you got to be grateful for the good, the bad, but especially the ugly, because you learn from the ugly.
Yeah, that's it.
Right? You learn from the ugly. So what are those things trying to teach you?
I'd like to learn something from you here in a moment. It's a little bit off topic, but similar, and that is this. I watch you handle those bees. So here's the question. And in case you guys don't know, which I'm sure you do, this guy's a beekeeper. And I'm fascinated by this. Just absolutely fascinated by it. I'm not afraid of bees, but my question is, why don't they sting you?
Okay, so oddly enough, I've been around bees. There's bees everywhere, right? So what I did is I've been fortunate to. So I grew up in Portugal. I don't know if you know that, but I was born in Portugal. I came here as a kid, and I grew up in Newark, and had very humble beginnings, to say the least, and didn't always have the happiest of childhoods, we'll say. But one of the things that I used to enjoy when I go back to Portugal is
somebody says he's crazy with bees.
I'm a little crazy. But listen, if you're not a little crazy, we can't be friends. I'm willing to coach you a little bit, but you got to have that spark.
You got to bring your own crazy.
So I'd go back to Portugal and I'd go.
Somebody says they do sting him, Joseph. Don't believe him.
Oh yeah, wait, I'm about to tell you this. So when I'd go back to Portugal, I'd go to my grandmother's house. I'd go egg hunting, right? It's like looking for eggs. And I'd go to my aunt's, everybody's house. I went to that had eggs as a kid. I'd go looking for them. So I wanted to give it to my kids, and so I do have chickens and ducks and stuff. I'm fortunate to live in a beautiful area, a couple of acres, so I can do that. And then I decided, my father-in-law also had two beehives, which. Man, I'll tell you. So the thing about bees is the more aggressive they are, the more honey they make. And one of the best commercialized bee anyway, the biggest producer is an African bee, but they are assholes.
Yeah.
You can't look at them from 50 feet away. They're going to 4 or 5 of them are going to come over and sting the hell out of you.
Really?
You can't even look.
It's
super aggressive. But so I've been stung by bees before, but I decided I was going to have the beehives because I had. I've got a garden, I've got huge fields near me, so I put these 2 beehives in, and I've been stung by bees before. Last year, to William's point, I got stung, and all of a sudden I got an elephant arm the next day, so I developed an allergy to bees.
Oh, so they sting you, you just have an allergy. I mean, you just have a...
Right, no, I had an allergic reaction, and my hand blew up. 2 weeks later, I was doing something, I got stung again. I'm like, are you kidding? So my arm blew up again, so now I do have to take some kind of steroid or something when I get stung. But I've been stung twice this year and I didn't have the reaction. So I do get stung. But I will say I had my uncle there helping me the other day, and there was something about him that they didn't like. They were barely on my suit, but when he turned around, he looked like a skunk. It was like a string of bees. They would have killed him if he didn't have the bee suit on. But they do sting.
Okay, well, I stand corrected. He does get stung.
I do get stung.
Because I've seen pictures of people that no mask on or anything, and they got bees all over them and things like that. Why aren't they stinging?
Mine just aren't that big yet for me to do that. I'm not talking about the bees. I'm talking about... So there are a couple of different types of bees. This conversation really took a twist, right?
Yeah.
So I have a Austrian hive, which are more winter hardy, and I have an Italian hive, which are more docile, so they're not as aggressive, depending what time of year. So if you go there and they're just in production, they don't care about you, you're doing your thing. But if you go there when it's something called the dearth, where there's no pollen really to be had, and now they're protecting their honey, you don't want to go there then, because then they're much more aggressive.
No,
so there you go.
No, anyway.
So now you guys have a little bit of bee knowledge. So Be Happy, which by the way is the name of my honey. It's
nice.
Be Happy Honey.
Nice, love it.
Be Happy Honey, yeah. So let's see. William says,
there's Pasquale.
William Pasquale. What's up, William? So put my Shannon put her order in. I've got some for you still. Hey, Maryland. So people are commenting. So awesome. So so if you want to check out some of those videos, you can go onto my page, and I do have some of those videos up. It's on Instagram. I probably have a few things on there as well. So Tony Rodriguez 2.0 on Instagram. Joseph McClendon III. No, I am Joseph. I am Joseph McClendon on Instagram, and I'll put the links in here for his book, and I'll put the links in here for his website, and come join us. It's going to be
you'll put the link in
blast.
There's two things. Put the link in for Magnetic Success. And just go watch the video. You'll get it. Watch the video. You'll see. I'm going to explain exactly what you're going to get, but you're also going to see, in the event, but you're also going to see some testimonials and things. This is the real deal. There's only a couple weeks left. There's a few spots left. And come join me. Only time here in the U.S., and we're going to make it happen.
Yeah. And then as a really small bonus, I'll be there too.
And he's going to be there. He's the reason I'm doing it.
Anyway, listen, I appreciate all of you guys, and just for being here and for stepping up, because every time that you're here and you're spending a little bit of time, whether it be 30, 40 minutes, but an hour, however long, you're also, thank you for the support for me, but hopefully you're getting some knowledge and you're getting some information that can be helpful for you, that you can then go out and share with the world, because you know what, we are all impactors, we all make an impact, and it all starts with you.
We need you.
Yeah, we need you. Your ripple. How far can you get, right? And as I say all the time, remember that, my friends, that in life, it is not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get up. You fall down 7, get up 8, and every single time you fall, you have an opportunity to get up and grow. So appreciate you guys. If this video resonated, click share it around, type your friends' names in there, do what you got to do. Appreciate all of you guys. We got some work to do. We got to get.
Oh yeah. I got stuff to do. Remember, life's exactly what you dare to make it. Fortune favors the bold.
The bold, baby.
So boldly step up. Dare to make your life magnificent. I'm out.
And look at this guy, 66. Happy birthday,
Thanks, man.
brother.
Mom.
Love you, man. All right. See you guys.
See you.